Hi, in this video, we're going to take a look at Axway Amplify Fusion's ForEach Parallel. So in a prior video, the hello flow control, we actually looked at a ForEach and we looped over some data and did some data mapping. I don't remember exactly. So we're going to do a similar exercise, but we're going to enable the parallel to speed up the execution of our ForEach. And in this video, we're going to be using an OpenAPI connector to the pet store API, which we covered in Hello OpenAPI connector. So refer to those two videos if it's unclear what my starting point is. But let's get started. Let's create an integration. And as usual, we'll use a scheduler trigger, which allows us to use the test button. So let me add that. And I'll put a 60-second scheduler because we're never going to activate this. We're just going to use the test button to execute our integration. And the first thing I'll do is let me just use a map function to declare a document array variable. That's where I'll collect all my results. And it's a common design pattern to use a for loop and to append items to a document array. Okay, document array, and we'll call this results. And let's save that. And now what we'll do is let's get our data, and I'll use the OpenAPI pet store, which I just showed you. So let's expand that. Let's select the pet store OpenAPI connector from the current project. We'll use the pet object, and we will find pets by status. We've done that a bunch, and the status will be available. Oh, we can have multiple statuses, so let's do available. Hopefully I spelled that right. Okay, save and save. And let's just test that and make sure it works. I click the test button. We'll bring up the monitor for that current transaction. And let's check our OpenAPI client, expand the result. It's a success, and we have about 624 pets. Great. So that's what we're going to loop over, this response. So let's close that monitor window. We don't need that. Let's add a ForEach, which again, you've done before if you've watched the videos. Let's expand that, click the configure button. And now we need to tell the ForEach what's the list we're looping over. So we're looping over the find pets by status output, and it is the response document array. That's our list. And we won't do the parallel first. Let's do it without the parallels. We have something to compare to. And what I want to do inside of here is let's make another call to the pet store OpenAPI backend, and we will get a pet by ID. So let's grab the connector. It's another pet object, and let's do a get pet by ID. And I know that's a path parameter, and the ID is going to come from the array we're looping over. So in each iteration, we're going through the current response from the find pets by status output, and we'll use that ID. And that, of course, will produce this response, which is ID, category, name, photos, tags, etc. So let's save that. And what I will do is let's map that to the results. And I think we've also covered append list. It's a map function that allows me to add items to a document array. So the document array is results, and I'll store that back in the results. And let's just add a get pet by ID. And that's a document. So we'll go to doc in, save that. Now I'll run this and then I'll stop the video because this should take about 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'll click refresh a few times so you see that it's going to take a while. Yeah. And it's 9:31 a.m., so probably at 9:33, this will terminate. Okay, so this finished executing, and it looks like it took 2 minutes and 49 seconds just for the for loop. I see there's an error here. Probably some of the calls failed. 404s. We're hitting that PetStore API a lot, so it's kind of expected. Let's take a look at the ForEach, and I can see that there were 629 pets, and we probably have 2 less. Yeah, 627. So it still worked. 2 of the calls failed. I did not wrap those calls in try-catch like I should have, but that's okay. And you can see that I assembled my results array. So now let's enable the parallel and the ForEach and see the benefit. So you click the configuration for the ForEach, and now we click Run Parallel, and then let's specify the list we're aggregating. In this case, it's just one, the results. Let's save that. Let's save here, and we didn't need to do that. And let's run again. This should be much quicker, probably about 6 seconds. And there you have it. So it looks like it took about 5.5 seconds to do the for loop. And let's click on that. And again, let's just see how many pets we got. First time we got 627. I do have error there, so I expect slightly less. 626. And again, so there are my pets. So this worked. It ran in parallel, and it was significantly faster. It went from like 2.5 minutes down to under 6 seconds. And you're not always going to get that kind of performance increase on a ForEach parallel. It depends on the iteration count. It depends on what you're doing inside the for loop. And certainly if you're only looping over 3 or 4 items, you might not even bother trying it, but you can run some tests and see how it works for you and get great benefits from the parallel ForEach. Thank you.